so excited to bring you this here today. We have the premiere episode of our newest podcast. It is called WrastleCast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Mark Asali. You might remember me from Popcorn Prattle. My co-host, Calvin Hoskins, he's going to stay over there. But I have two very good close friends of mine who are going to be the host of this show. Aaron, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Aaron O'Connell. I have been a wrestling fan since I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. Accidentally walked into a room when my cousin was watching it. My mom was trying really hard not to get me to watch it, and I saw Hardcore Holly hit Crash Holly with one of the things you stand on at the doctor to get weighed, and I was hooked ever since then. So I've been watching it since then. I've been really into it. When Marcus approached us about this, I decided, hey, let's do it. It would be fun. Indeed. I currently live in Florida, and I'm doing theatrical stuff, Indeed. Lighting and sound. So yeah. Very nice.
And live via satellite, just like our liege lord, The Rock, we have Billy Chambers. Billy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, America. My name is Billy Chambers. I have been a wrestling fan for quite a long time as well. Probably not as diehard as Aaron until past, decade maybe. My first memory of wrestling was walking in on my sister watching the match, classic Undertaker versus Mankind Hell in a Cell, and seeing Mick Foley go off the top of the cage through the ball, but then bad man. I was completely and totally hooked. I am currently in Utah, great state of Utah. And mostly just focusing on career stuff right now, watching professional wrestling. Really excited to do this with Marcus and Aaron, two very close friends of mine, and glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you, guys. It's wonderful to have you guys with us today. This is the second series from Shenanigans Incorporated Productions. We're going to be making a whole bunch of different podcasts for you guys. I'm not promising that I'm always going to be the host of every podcast, just because I have a job and a side career acting as well. So I ain't got time to be making so many podcasts. So I'm hoping that somebody will step up and take on the third podcast series for me. But I'm so excited about this one. We've actually been talking about this podcast for about 2 months now. And now is our premiere date, so we're excited to have it. Tonight, we have a couple of exciting topics for you today. We're going to talk about at least 3 things. We have 2 other ones, but if you guys have listened to Popcorn Prattle, you know that we like to talk about these things. We get very passionate, we get very heated, and we could probably go over time. So even though I say we're probably going to come in at about an hour, if you've been listening to Popcorn Prattle, you know that's a lie. We're going to go a little bit over time, just like Raw. So, without further ado, here are our 3 topics for tonight. First thing we're going to talk about is Roman Reigns. Is he living up to the hype, or is he just falling flat? The next topic is going to be Royal Rumble fantasy picks. We're going to hash it out on who we feel should be, who we should feel should win the Rumble. I know that all 3 of us have we have our favorites, and some people we like more than others. So we might hear a little bit of Daniel Bryan thrown in there. Might hear, Adrian Neville thrown in there. Who knows? These are our fantasy picks, who we want to see win the Royal Rumble. And then we're going to conclude with a very big topic of ours, and this is something that we've been talking about via Facebook for a week now. And we're going to talk about Vince versus Trips. Why NXT is beating Raw/Smackdown. And we're going to talk about the big, the Thursday night war that's coming, because if you haven't noticed, SmackDown is getting moved to Thursdays, which ironically is also the same night as NXT. Coincidence? We're going to find out. We're going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and let's start off with our first topic. and we're going to talk about Roman Reigns. Is he living up to the hype, or is he falling flat? If you guys at home, for whatever reason, if you haven't been keeping up with WWE, or if you just don't get inside information, Roman Reigns is slated to be the new top guy. Just like John Cena was before him, he is going to be the face of the company. And because of that, they have basically been grooming him and fast-tracking him, sort of like what they did to Ryback, which hopefully someone will talk about. They're fast-tracking him so that he can go ahead and be the star that we need, because Cena's been there for a while, and Cena's, I guess, starting to wear down. So let's go ahead and open the floor up to anybody who wants to weigh in.
First things first, though. We got first things first. Just remember, whatever we say, we have to make Roman Reigns look strong.
Indeed. Indeed.
Reigns looks strong.
At the end of the day, Roman Reigns has to do his 5 moves of doom.
Look strong.
He's got to hit us all with the Superman punch, and we all have to get speared through tables. So just remember that. All right. Who wants to start? Roman Reigns. Is he living up to the hype, or is he falling flat?
I'll go first. I'll just talk right now, at least. People are calling Roman Reigns the next John Cena, or the next guy. So people are even calling him like the next Rock, because they're related. Roman Reigns is Samoan, all these things. If I had to compare Roman Reigns to somebody in the past I think we've seen before, I think I'd say Roman Reigns is the next Lex Luger.
Oh.
Yeah. Nothing against Lex Luger or Roman Reigns, both very talented, both, guys who carved a niche for themselves in the business.
Mm-hmm.
But Lex Luger was the guy behind Hulk Hogan. When Hulk Hogan left for, WCW, they're like, oh, we have Lex. We grew him. He's this all-American looking guy. He's strong. He can do all these things. Meanwhile, the fans said, no, screw that noise. We want this bald Texan who wants to beat people up to be our guy, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time. I feel that they're repeating history with Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is a great talent. I think Roman Reigns, if allowed to be himself, could be something big. But you can't pick who the top guy is going to be. Time and time has shown that over and over again. We, the fans, we pick who the top guy is. We picked John Cena back in 2006 or 7 when he was doing the Thugonomics thing, because that was cool. And then he became New Age Hulk Hogan. We picked Hulk Hogan way back when. I wasn't born yet, but still. So for them to groom somebody to be the top guy is only going to make us hate them. Look at Rocky Maivia. I mean, he became The Rock, one of the greatest sports entertainment personalities of all time. But when they introduced him, he was this, fresh-faced kid who everyone hated. Gotta let somebody grow, in my opinion. I think Roman Reigns can live up to the hype. I just don't think he will in his current situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that right now answering that question is going to be a little bit harder, just because he hasn't had the time as a singles competitor to really grow or to really develop anything. He started the storyline with Seth Rollins, and then immediately he had to go hernia surgery, so that kind of died off, and they kept trying to play it off when he was doing interviews and stuff, but now they've kind of completely forgotten about that at all. Yeah. I mean, he came back, he punched Seth Rollins, costing him the match, and Seth is still going after John Cena, but that's
while complaining about Sting.
Yeah, but that's just a completely different topic. We'll get to that later. But
Sting.
But as far as Roman living up to the hype, I mean, he has the potential. He does need to work on his promos, definitely.
Yeah.
His promos are weak, and I think that maybe for him, it's better to be that big, rough, tough guy who just beats people up, as opposed to wanting to talk to it and pander to people and try and get you. Because, I mean, Cena, while he makes poop jokes and does all that, he can cut a good promo when he needs to.
Yeah, he can.
Every now and then, you get a good promo from Cena when you can tell he's passionate about what he's doing. And right now...
fair, that's the only good promo you get from Cena, though.
That is true.
This business, that's really all you get.
That is true.
Yeah.
But with Roman, he hasn't had a good promo at all. There's been nothing. He even... His first night back, when he entered himself into the Royal Rumble, he flubbed the promo.
Yeah, he did.
It was supposed to be this big, I'm back, I'm a powerhouse, I'm going to do it, and he just stumbled over himself, and it made him look weaker. And so I think that for him right now, he's getting that push, and everybody is kind of denying that he's getting the push at this point because they're not seeing him as this big, strong monster that they want him to be because he's not backing it up. He can do it in the ring. He's fine in the ring. You know, he's pretty fluid. He does need to work on some stuff, but when it comes to the promos, nobody's going to believe you if you can't go out there and talk, if you can't go out there and get us to want to believe you. And so,
to that point, I remember, I'm not sure about you guys, but one of the few things he did as a singles competitor that made me really excited is when he first started that, mini feud with Seth Rollins, he threw a cinder block at his head.
Yeah.
He missed, but that was awesome. That was one of the first times I was like, holy crap, Roman Reigns is going to hurt somebody. He needs more of that stuff, in my opinion.
He needs to actually, and not even dominate a match, but like the feud he's having with Big Show, he needs to have, and it's with Big Show right now, so there are limitations.
Right.
But he needs to have a good 15, 20-minute match where he gets beat down and he comes back even stronger. But right now, all we're getting is like he Superman punches somebody and then goes away, or he spears somebody, or he squashes somebody.
Right.
And so right now, it's like, yes, he's a tough guy, but when he gets challenged, what's going to happen?
I mean, for me, it's like, I love Roman Reigns. I think he's great. But whenever I see Roman Reigns, and I think this is all, and I want to say creative, but let's just keep it real. This is Vince's final call. So when I see him up there and he's trying to be the cool guy, the only thing I think of is they're trying to make him discount Rock. That's all they're trying to do. He's got he's starting to do, I don't know if you guys noticed it, he started doing the eyebrow thing, like he's flirting with the girl, whenever he's being interviewed with Renee, he's always flirting with Renee, much like The Rock would flirt with Lillian Garcia. So when I watch him, I'm like, you're not as cool as The Rock because this feels forced. When The Rock was in the arena, whenever he comes in, you never feel like it's forced. You always feel like this is like how he probably acts in everyday life. Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan gets up there, because Daniel Bryan will flub up a promo too.
That's true.
But whenever he talks, that's him. It's not, this isn't like something that's scripted. This is Daniel Bryan making a case about why he should be champion. And so when I look at Reigns, I want him to do well. I really do. But let's keep it real. The fans are not going for him. They chanted boring during his match yesterday. They chanted boring. And he was not the main event. And if you want him to be the guy, you need to make him main event. You know who did main event? Dean Ambrose.
That's the guy.
And people love Dean. Oh, and Bray. But Bray to me he's in a whole other category. He has potential.
Bray's making me mad. Well, what they're doing with Bray is making me mad right now. We'll say that for a later discussion.
Indeed.
But yes, Dean Ambrose is fantastic.
Yeah. And so they should be looking at okay, what is Dean Ambrose doing that's making fans love him? What did Daniel Bryan do? What's that?
Dean Ambrose, yeah. Dean Ambrose is being Dean Ambrose. When Dean Ambrose comes out there, he just says whatever he wants to say.
Right.
He's not going out there and going, oh, I've got to read off of this piece of paper that they gave me earlier. No, he's going out there and he's just saying whatever he's feeling at that moment. And I think that part of it is if we go back to when they were the Shield, okay, they would all have little snippets on their little backstage vignettes with the cameras, and I always said they shouldn't let Roman talk.
Mm-hmm.
Let Seth, let Dean talk.
Mm-hmm.
Roman was doing just fine. He was still the powerhouse out of those three, and he didn't have to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that what they have to do is they have to build him like that,
Mm-hmm.
where instead of talking about it, he just does stuff about it.
Yeah.
And that's what the Shield did. The night that the Shield turned face, they didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
They just came out and they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the back, when they had the promo beforehand, when they told them that they need to be there,
Mm-hmm.
they all just went, all right, and then went out.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to cut that promo.
Right.
They just came out and they acted upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we have to get him to act upon stuff before we can at least even try and get him to do promos. Because right now, the promos aren't going to cut it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let me get this straight. So can the Roman Reigns project be saved? Aaron, what do you think?
I think that it can.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
They've already started to bury it. I mean, you're getting boring chants.
Yeah.
Already, and it's only his first match back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be hard.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think that he's a good talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that he's bad in the ring. It's not that he's not willing to try.
Right.
I think it's just something that instead of fast tracking it, you
Mm-hmm.
have to let it progress. You have to work on it.
Right. Billy, what are your thoughts?
I tend to agree. I think the best thing they can do for Roman to save Roman is to start treating him kind of like the one-man Shield. You know, when he was with the Shield, their music hit, you're like, oh, someone's going to get hurt right now. Like, it was a foregone conclusion. And that's what they need to bring back with Roman. When someone's in the ring...
Sorry, folks, we're getting some technical difficulties. Sorry, Billy, repeat that again. We got some technical difficulties.
Okay, sorry. That's what was cool about Roman, is that...
Apparently, you're not allowed to say anything about Roman Reigns. Vince has apparently hacked our system, and you're about to say something mean, maybe, and he doesn't want you to say that. Roman Reigns has to look strong.
He hates me because I'm a millennial. That's fine. Let's try this one more time.
One more time.
So, what I think they need to do for Roman is to treat him like the one-man Shield. Are we good? Did it come through?
We're good.
Okay, just making sure. What I mean by that is when you heard the Shield's music, someone was going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Foregone conclusion. You should have that same feeling with Roman. That's what made the Shield cool. Almost every match that you saw on the Shield that you were like, oh, something cool is going to happen, Roman was the finish. That was it. And that was cool. The giant epic fight they had with the Wyatts, Roman was the finish. He lost, but he had great spots. So I think they need to bring that back. Like, I agree. Take him off the microphone. That's what they need to do. He's not good at talking. He's good at hitting people. Let him do that. That's all you need for him. I mean, yeah, it's going to take a while. It's not going to be an immediate take off, here we go. But nothing, really worthwhile ever has been. Again, going back, we mentioned Ryback earlier. He built him up for a month and then gave the CM Punk, and he broke Punk's ribs. But not only that, is once that feud was over, he disappeared for a while. You know what I mean? He teamed with Curtis Axel, and while that was fun, he was in obscurity for forever because they didn't give it time to progress. It wasn't natural. They were like, "Oh, the fans want this. Hit on it." Which maybe later on in our state of the overall universe part of this segment of our show, but I think it's possible. I think it won't happen in the way that anyone in the WWE brass wants it to happen. But I mean, we as fans like Roman Reigns before Vince decided to did, And I think that there's still something there that can connect to us fans. It's going to take a little bit of time.
I agree.
I think that, and if this happens, it's gonna the comparisons are gonna start going crazy. But at some point, they may have to turn him heel to make him a good face.
Yeah.
Only because if he's heel, he doesn't have to cut the promos as much.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a heel, you can come in, you can, wreck stuff,
Yeah.
and then you can leave, and you don't have to explain yourself to anybody.
Hell,
because you're a heel.
Team him up with Paul Heyman. I mean, it didn't, quote unquote, work with Cesaro, but I think it would work
Cesaro's
with
Austrian or Swiss or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever going to work because he doesn't speak the language.
But I mean, if we look at it, at one point, Cena was a top heel.
Yep.
At one point, Hogan was a top heel.
Mm-hmm.
At when he got popular, The Rock
Yep.
was the top heel.
Mm-hmm.
So
Stone Cold even.
Stone Cold
Stone
even,
Cold,
yeah. And so
Triple
I
H.
think that maybe it seems that the universe just throughout the years
Mm-hmm.
is sympathetic towards heels more and tends to grow a fan base as a heel, and then once they make that face turn,
Yeah.
then you get the kids.
Mhm.
Then you get, the women like Cena have now.
Right.
But that core fan base of males
Mm-hmm.
is not going to like the I love to, hug kids and
Right.
grant wishes babyface.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's kind of just tired of it,
Yeah.
especially and I think they're already starting to ruin it a little bit. I mean, even on yesterday they had an article about Roman Reigns granting his first Make-A-Wish,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, do you know how many Make-A-Wishes that have been solo that everyone else has done, but you don't hear about it
Right.
because they're not the one the company wants to push.
Right.
And so now it's kind of like
Yes.
it's like them throwing Roman Reigns in your face and saying, "Hey, like this guy."
Mm-hmm.
And when anybody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you have to do this. You have to like this person. You have to do it," you're tending
Yep.
to just defy them and not like them. And
Exactly.
I think that's what happened with Cena.
Yep.
And that's what's already happening with Roman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's no fault of his own. He's a great athlete.
Right.
He's a great performer.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that he did.
Right.
It's just the way he's been booked.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and segue into the next segment. We've had some really great points about Roman Reigns, and I think it's a unanimous decision. Roman Reigns is, he still has a lot of work to do, but we as wrestling fans are not going to give up on him. Like, we feel like he can be saved. I completely agree. Maybe he should turn heel. I know I've been playing WWE 2K14 for the past 2 days, and I'm loving my universe. And Roman Reigns turned heel in that, and like as I'm playing the game, I'm like, man, this is a lot more interesting to play now because I'm creating these storylines based off of him being this top heel.
Okay.
And
Let's hold on for 1 second, Marcus. Not to interject here, but I have to let everyone at home know that you have potentially the most interesting wrestling universe ever. Legitimately, if they could let you book the shows, it would be phenomenal.
This is true.
Those of you guys at home, Marcus has this great talent for making his own wrestlers. Comes with the best ideas I've ever heard for his own wrestlers. We'll need a segment on this show, maybe a future episode, just to talk about Marcus's universe.
And why I should run WWE.
Seriously, it's that good. Sorry to cut you off, Marcus. Go
No, it's fine. No, because that was perfect. Because Billy's right. Like, I feel like I have a talent for it. Aaron's like he's like our guru basically on wrestling. And like Billy's like very strong in his wrestling knowledge as well. So we all know exactly what we're talking about when we, are like, hey, maybe this matchup should happen. Which leads me to my next segment, Royal Rumble fantasy picks. Roman Reigns is now up in the air whether or not he's going to actually win the Royal Rumble. So in light of that, we're going to actually talk about who do we want. If it doesn't matter who it is, I mean, what are stipulations? Like maybe current rosters, like NXT wrestlers can also be thrown in there. And so no oldies. It depends. Depends on what your argument is for them.
Well, let's do this. Let's do who we hope makes a surprise return.
Okay.
And who we hope wins.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do surprise returns first. I want to go first, and actually I can. This will be a twofer for me.
Twofer. I know who you're gonna say.
You're gonna
Then.
steal mine. I feel like.
I am.
I feel like all of us immediately went to this guy. And he said who's gonna be a surprise return. So go ahead, you say that, and then because I think we know what we all know what's coming. So here we go.
The yes man himself, Daniel Bryan. Yes. I want him back. I'm so I mean, come on now. Every time that man gets on TV now, he does not skip a beat. The yes movement is still strong. We still love us some Daniel Bryan. And I was worried. I thought man, he's gonna lose so much steam. But when he came back as just a special guest general manager of Raw, and everybody is still giving him a standing ovation, they cannot ignore that. If they do,
again.
Again. If they do, they're going to have enough. It's going to be like what happened last year when everybody was Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, and they try to bury him with
Rey Mysterio.
Right. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen if Daniel Bryan does not win the Royal. If Daniel Bryan doesn't come back, if Daniel Bryan comes back and he does not win the Royal Rumble, if Roman Reigns wins, then there is no hope for Roman Reigns because you have gotten buried by the yes movement.
Then everything we just said was null and void.
Right. Nothing you can do at that point is going to help him.
So basically what we're saying is if Marcus's dreams come true, we're all null and void.
Now, because Daniel Bryan was put on the table, I am willing to come up with a new wrestler. You just have to give me a second.
I mean, well, here, I'll talk, because I have two.
Okay.
That, one is a little bit more likely to happen, but I have a stipulation for it.
Okay.
The other one is a little bit of a stretch, but I would also really love to see it.
All right.
So the first one is the one that's more likely is Sheamus comes back. However, I want Sheamus to come back as a heel. I miss heel Sheamus. I loved heel Sheamus.
I agree.
From the beginning, and I think he's just better as a heel. He's like Batista. He's like Orton. He's just naturally better as a heel. And so that's the first one. The second one, and this one is the stretch, but I think it could lead to some good storylines. It could lead to some interesting stuff. I would like to see Bully Ray. Show up. I would like to see Bully Ray come back to WWE, and I think he. Especially as an older talent, he's proven himself as a singles competitor. He's great on the younger guys, and he could really, elevate them, put them over.
Yeah.
Even if if they have to, which the way booking goes, even if they put him against someone like Lesnar, it would be a fight, and it would be a good fight. So.
Nice, Billy.
Okay, so. If I'm being honest with myself, this is impossible. But the person I'd love to see come back at the Rumble would be Mr. Joe Brooks, CM Punk. I understand and I'm aware that it is not in any way, shape, or form going to happen. But hey, this is wrestling, and I'm allowed to dream. Being realistic, that's rough. I would like to see Sheamus come back. That'd be pretty great. I'd like to see more NXT guys debut on the main roster. I think that'd be great. Guys like Finn Balor would be awesome, or Hideo Itami. That'd be really cool too.
Oh man, especially Finn Balor. If he
comes out in that makeup with that entrance he did at our Evolution.
Oh my gosh!
Wonderful. I popped so hard.
Minor segue here about Finn Balor. I love Finn Balor. He is the prettiest man I've ever seen.
He is quite attractive.
I think he's a little bit too overdramatic. I think he's great. I think he's awesome. But just that entrance was probably as long as the match.
Worth it.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Look at Taker.
As someone who does lighting, that lighting design, I was It was wonderful. Whoever did the lighting design, if you are listening to this, which you're probably not, but if you are, you did an amazing job, and I would love to shake your hand.
If you're listening to this, 1, thank you. 2, great job.
But look at Taker. Taker takes at least, 10 minutes to get down to the ring just to bring the lights back up?
Yeah, I hear that, but, and I will say this is the only wrestler I can use this defense for. It's Taker. Like,
That's understandable.
I love Taker, and he's amazing, and he could do whatever he wants. He could do no wrong, in my opinion.
Right.
As far as professional wrestling goes, or sports entertainment. But like I said, I like Finn Balor a lot. I thought the entrance was really, really cool. I just didn't need all this, friggin' Carnage Venom moves off the turnbuckle and rolling around in the ring with the. I mean, it's a great image. I think it's great. I kind of wanted to get to the point a little bit faster. I mean, because in contrast, when he's in the ring, all business, super quick.
Oh no, Triple H has now hacked the system. You're not allowed to say bad things about Finn Balor.
You need to stop making people mad, okay? We're trying to have a podcast here.
I like to think it's Kim Jong-un, who was just like, he say bad things about product. No.
Hey. We're saving that for Popcorn Prattle.
Oh, fair enough.
Shameless plug.
Essentially, to the point, I like Finn Balor a lot. I want more in-ring action, less pomp and circumstance, essentially.
I gotcha. Okay, I got you.
I
don't agree, but I got you.
I think we'll get to that, but we'll have that discussion later. So.
Indeed.
Okay.
So these are all the people that we want to make surprise returns, okay, or surprise entrances. Who do we want to win the Royal Rumble if Reigns is out? Aaron is literally jumping out of his seat right now.
Dean Ambrose. I want Dean Ambrose, and multiple reasons. One, everyone loves Dean right now. Dean's one of the, hottest things on that roster. And I think that it makes sense if Lesnar is still going to be champ, the fighting styles that they have would make for a great match. Because Dean's fighting style isn't wrestling, it's fighting.
Yeah.
And the same with Lesnar. Lesnar comes in and he fights. He doesn't really wrestle. And so I think that match could just be good. It would be a great match, I think. And forgetting size advantage, anything like that. And then I think that the promos between Heyman and Dean could get really, really good leading up.
Goodness gracious. Because Dean wouldn't even be in it for the title. He would just be in it for the fight.
Dean is just in it for the fight. And that's why people love him. Is because Dean comes out there and Dean fights.
Yeah.
He's not out there to, continue a storyline. He's out there to fight.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would love for Dean to win. Will it happen? Probably not, because, Vince has dropped the brass ring. But nice. I would love for that to happen.
Billy, who do you want to win the Royal Rumble if Reigns is out?
Barring Daniel Bryan, in case he's still on injured reserve, I would also say Dean Ambrose in a different scenario. What I'd like to see is Dean Ambrose wins the Royal Rumble. However, Cena beats Brock or Brock beats Cena. Seth cashes in. At this point, they go to whatever the next pay-per-view is. I think it's Elimination Chamber, but I think they changed the name.
Yeah. It's like Fastlane now. Something like that.
Whoever has their rematch clause, get it out of the way because no one cares. Have an Elimination Chamber for the number one contender. Dean goes crazy, essentially to get at, let's assume, Seth Rollins. And then they main event Mania, because that could be the best main event.
They completely dropped the ball with that feud. Dropped it. The Hell in a Cell match was so good. And then they just... I'm not saying that the Bray Wyatt Dean feud hasn't been good.
Right.
But that killed that feud.
No finish.
And I think, at this point, I think they do need to finish it. What I think would be good, something that they could do, but we'll probably talk about this at some other point. But I think if Seth wants to cash in, if they want him to look strong, if they want him to win, he should put himself in the main event at Mania and say, I'm cashing in the main event.
Oh, nice.
And so whoever it is, whoever's going against whoever, he comes out and he goes, I'm putting it in, because they could make him. Then he's not pulling the weak stuff of, I'm beating up the guy who's already been beat up. He's
right.
like, I'm in this match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something they could do. But that's for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he goes over in that too, that'd be crazy.
Yes.
So we've got two Deans. Dean is the hot favorite to win the Royal Rumble.
Dean.
If someone could win the Royal Rumble, and it can't be Daniel Bryan, and it can't be Dean Ambrose,
then it's got to be Batista.
well, I would love for Batista to get another run in WWE, because especially after Guardians of the Galaxy, especially since he got cast in Spectre. So I don't think he should win, but I think he should come back. I think he should make a surprise appearance. Here's who I would love to see win the Royal Rumble. And I think he's ready. And I think he's in the exact same position that Dean is in. He is poised to be. I feel like he's even closer to being the top face of this company, alongside Dean, my man, the show off, Dolph Ziggler. Like he is. I mean, he's awesome. I know I recently read an article that they were talking about, his wrestling style is too dangerous. He's constantly getting concussions and whatnot. But you know what? The man is good, and people are behind him. And it's like, why would you not strike while the iron is hot? This is a man who has the crowd eating out of the palm of his hands. He's always delivering great matches. I mean, even though we've seen, we were talking about last night, we've seen Luke Harper versus Dolph Ziggler so many freaking times.
In the past, 2 or 3 weeks, I think we've seen it 3 or 4 times, but every time,
well,
I mean,
it's like
great. We're still
Yep.
attentive. We're still watching, and you know what? And Luke Harper, though, he's also doing well for himself.
Yeah.
Luke Harper.
He's holding his own against Ziggler, which is tough.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get in there, and Ziggler looks great, and they don't, step their game up.
Right.
He has stepped his game up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's an excellent point. I think Luke Harper has also made Dolph Ziggler a better wrestler, and they don't need, and I mean, Ziggler's, his promos are getting better. He's not as, there's a nice, little swagger about him. He has that coolness that they're trying to force on Roman. It's interesting, because they want Roman to basically be like these other top guys. They're like, hey, people really like this about Dean. Why don't you do this? People really like this about Dolph. Why don't you do this? Dolph has that cool swagger down to a T. Okay, ladies love him. Guys are like, oh man, that's a cool mofo right there. And
he tells us he's gonna kiss our girlfriends, and we're all like, yeah, no, we're okay with that.
Exactly.
Please.
So I know he's got the IC right now, which I think for the first time in a long time, people actually care about that title. Just saying. And I'm like, you know what? Give him the big title. Give him the big one. Okay? He can handle it. And look at Daniel Bryan. They put it on Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan is, clearly at more risk of injury than Dolph Ziggler is. And I love Daniel Bryan, and I feel like he should get the title back. But, if that's your excuse, you put the title on Daniel Bryan because you felt confident in his abilities, or at least you recognize that he's a cash cow. Dolph Ziggler is your next cash cow, okay? Second only to Dean Ambrose.
What I like to do a lot about Dolph is he's shown in the past couple of weeks, at least I think I've seen it, he has this ability to provide immediate evolution of his style.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading prior to Raw, I think Stone Cold had a few comments, and I think JR might have as well, But I saw a few articles of people saying that he was overselling, that it's hard to get behind a face who gets beat up for 2/3 of the match just to come back and win. And, you know, you don't want to watch your guy get beat up and then out of nowhere come back and win. You want to see some back and forth. And then I watched Raw with that match he had with Luke Harper, and holy crap! I mean, it was nothing but back and forth. The offense they both had was fantastic, and it was just strange to me that it came right on the heels of, you know, these comments that were made very, very quickly and frequently about him, and he was just like, "Nah, I got this," and was able to evolve in that way. It seems like he's very dedicated to being the best that he can be, and he'll take any and all criticisms to evolve as a performer. I really, really, really respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's my pick. I mean, I think another pick for me, and y'all might think I'm crazy, Rusev.
Ooh, that's cool.
I think I think he would be a very interesting choice to send into that main event and let him have a good long match and let him win that title. And so, because I feel like in order for him to ascend, in order for him to become a top heel, they can't keep going with the anti-American gimmick. Like, that's gonna get old. It's fine now because he's got the U.S. title. When he lose that gimmick, make him the Destroyer. Make him your next Lesnar.
Yeah.
In all honesty, if he's beating everybody and everybody is afraid of him, except for like that one guy who's like, I'll be the one to defeat Rusev. No, you won't. No, you won't. You know? Next thing you know, you're turning heel. Send Rusev in there. I mean, he's not going to win the Royal Rumble. But, I mean, I would imagine that with 40 people, he's going to be in it.
I think they're going back to 30 now.
Really?
Yeah, from what I've read, the original plan was to do 40 and to supplement the like extra 10 or anything like that, because it's happening in Philadelphia.
Right.
They wanted to get like ECW people, but I don't know if that fell through or what happened. But apparently they're just going back to 30 now. When originally they did announce it, it's a 40.
That sounds cool. But, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, when you let go so many people, you know, or in some of the people you drove away, you know, Alberto Del Rio, Rey Mysterio, CM Punk, that's what happens.
Mysterio's cutting a new deal. He might be coming back, though, which I'd like to see.
You know what? No. Rey needs to stay out. Because if you're going to be treated that way, then I would say no. Don't come back.
They already have the new Rey Mysterio. He's just in NXT right now.
Right.
That's Kalisto.
Mm-hmm.
Kalisto. Yeah.
Who's not terrible. I mean,
he's decent. I've seen living in Florida. They do the house NXT shows, and anybody that I've talked to always seems to enjoy his matches. I've seen a couple of them, and they're pretty quality matches, no matter what he's been doing. So I think just to fill that void, they do have someone.
Yeah.
Now, how long it takes them to get up there, I don't know, but if they need that, they have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of NXT, because we are getting to the 44-minute mark, and I really know that we're going to be chomping at the bit to our main event of the evening, Vince versus Trips. If you don't know what I mean by Trips, I'm talking about Triple H. There is. And it's interesting because on the other podcast I mentioned, like in the very first episode, I said there is a war coming. There is, and I referenced, and even in that I referenced wrestling. I referenced the Monday Night Wars. There is a war coming again. There's a civil war within WWE, and it's Vince's side and it's Triple H's side. And Vince is running Raw and SmackDown, and Triple H is killing it. absolutely killing it with NXT. We've made several references throughout the night to NXT's what are they? Are they live events or are they pay-per-views?
It's they just call them live specials, I believe.
Okay, so
but it's their version of a pay-per-view.
Right.
Basically, they go out there and they go live and say, "Hey, ball's in your court. You either fail or you succeed."
Mm-hmm. And they pass with flying colors. If you've got the network, which is only $9.99, you can see you definitely get your money's worth with NXT. I've been watching NXT for about a year now. Aaron and I was playing video games, and Aaron was like, "Marcus, you need to watch NXT right now. Like it's amazing." And I turned to it, and I literally went from just pausing my game and watching the network on my cell phone to saying, like, you know what, I need to enjoy this on my big screen. So I stopped playing my game, put up NXT, and was just blown away by every single match. Even the kind of like weaker matches were still better than than a main event at the last couple of pay-per-views, in all honesty. You know, I mean, we were talking about Kalisto and Sin Cara with the Lucha Dragons versus the Vaudevillains. You know, to me, I feel like that was the weakest match of the night. But having said that, it was actually still pretty good.
It was a very good match.
I was really involved in it. And so to go from that, and then to go, I think it was the next one was Finn Balor and Hideo Itami versus the Ascension. Finn Balor comes out. You know, Billy has already mentioned that he did not like it.
I liked it. I just wanted it to be shorter.
No, Billy, because it was awesome. It was like, man, this is because people have heard. I had only heard about it. I've seen YouTube videos of him coming out in the face paint. So for them to make a big spectacle with it was just absolutely awesome. It's like, that is how you come into WWE. That is how you make a mother freaking statement.
And I think that's part of the success of NXT, is that it's a well-rounded product. You have good characters. You have good storylines. You have amazing matches to back up those characters and storylines.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that those guys are working, and they're allowing them the time to tell a story during their match, which, when it comes down to it, that's what you want. You want that story during the match. And I think that just so those NXT guys are getting that chance, and the WWE guys on the main roster are not. Mm-hmm. And it's not that they are, because I guarantee you, if they got the time, if they were allowed to go out there and tell a story, you would have some amazing matches.
Yeah.
But the way that Vince is booking it and the way that it's going is they're being held back.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to go out there and give it their all. They're not allowed to go out there and
grab the brass ring
because they're told not to.
Yeah.
And so I think that because I mean I'll preface this with basically I am a fan. I have my own observations. I can say that I didn't like that this wrestler did this and I didn't like this. But these guys are all extremely talented. Mm-hmm. Just because they did a bad thing doesn't mean that they're a bad wrestler.
Right.
So like I could never do like 99% of the stuff that they do. Right. I could not do. So just because I get on here and I say something bad about someone, I have all the respect in the world for everyone on that roster, because what they do is incredible and amazing, and there's no way that I could do that. Mm-hmm. And so, but I think that, having said that yes, there are better wrestlers than others. Yes, there are better talkers than others, but you have to be able to give them a chance to go out there and prove it. And that's what's happening in NXT, is they're allowed to go out there and give it their all. Yep. And it's basically, hey, ball's in your court. Mm-hmm. We're going to guide you, but when it comes down to it, you're out there. Yeah. And I think on the main roster, it's a lot more strict, where it's like, hey, the ball's in your court. but this is exactly what you're going to do with the ball.
Right.
Right. So I think that, and that's part of the problem right now. And I don't know how to change it. I have no idea what they can do. But and it's not just Triple H and it's not just Vince McMahon. There are teams of creative in NXT who have come up with this crazy storylines, characters, and Triple H is just approving it and overseeing it. So he's helping and guiding them as well. And so I think that they deserve as much, if not more, credit. Triple H is just the figurehead that everyone talks about. And with Vince, I'm sure that he probably has some really creative people on his team. But when it comes down to it, they probably pitch him an idea that could be really great.
Yeah.
And Vince just shoots it down because that's not what he wants. And so it's like, how many great things could have been on Raw, could have been on SmackDown, and we don't get to see that because the head guy isn't open.
Right.
Triple H is open to new stuff. Vince is not, and that's the big difference, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in the type of wrestlers that they want to push. I mean, Adrian Neville is not what I feel Vince sees as a champion. And yet, up until he lost the title to my boy Sami Zayn, he was the guy. I loved every single time I saw him on NXT. When we went to New Orleans to go to WrestleMania, he was there. And it was an amazing match. It was like, it was so cool. It's like, oh man, like Adrian Neville's right there. He has the potential to be a top guy as well. But my thing is, it's like, how many times are you going to shoot down an idea before you have to start realizing, hey, you know what? Why don't I just take a chance on, on this guy? Why don't I take a chance on that guy?
I think that I read online, and it's a very good comparison, and it makes a lot of sense. Is Vince has his idea of this guy should be the top guy, this should be the thing, and the comparison was in WCW. They had their big guys, they had the top guys, but for a while, their big draw was their cruiserweight division. Yeah, and NXT is the cruiserweight division. You don't have a lot of guys in NXT who the big, strong, like the big WWE guys that Vince sees as the top guy. You don't have a lot of that. You have a lot of different stuff coming in there, and I think that variety is something different. It's a fresh breath of air that the main roster doesn't have. Yeah. Because you have all these guys who have been molded into what Vince wants, as opposed to there's all these different, types of styles, these different sizes, and everything in NXT.
I mean, you look at Sami Zayn, and it's like, I've never seen anything like that, and he is just entertaining as hell to watch, So yeah, I completely agree that there's not, there's not this variety. There's not as much variety as as there is on NXT. And Aaron hit it right on the head. I'm not saying that Raw is a horrible show and I spend the entire time, complaining about it. Because hopefully we've proven we do love the product. I mean, I mentioned I got the network. I didn't get that just for NXT.
I still buy tickets. I still go to shows.
And it's like, look, I'm every week I'm like, this is gonna be the week that WWE is going to turn it around, and it's going to be an awesome show. And this is it's going to prove once again why I'm a wrestling fan. But it's getting hard now, especially. And if you haven't read articles, apparently it's getting hard for a lot of the wrestlers on the main roster because they too saw NXT. They saw their live special, and they were like, "This is exactly what we're talking about. We can do this too." And not only that, we could probably do it better because we've been here longer. You don't have to teach them anything. Just give them a shot. Let them play. Let them get out there. Let them play. Stop doing this. Like, you're right, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, and then it's going to lead to something stupid. Stop making them do stupid stuff Let them do the cool things. Let them do the things that got them on the show in the first place. Let Roman Reigns be Roman Reigns. Let Dean be Dean. Let Dolph be Dolph. Let the divas actually wrestle instead of just being eye candy.
Seriously. Well, that actually, I think there are two big reasons why NXT is a better, quote-unquote, put-together show than Raw is, in my opinion. The first being the difference between professional wrestling and sports entertainment. I'm a professional wrestling fan. I want to see two guys get in the ring, pretend to beat each other up. I think it's great. I think it's a whole lot of fun. I think it's awesome. And as much as I love guys like Hornswoggle and El Torito, I don't necessarily want to watch them wrestle in mascot costumes. I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's entertaining necessarily. I mean, they do their best. Nothing against those two performers.
Right.
But there's just something inherently icky, for lack of a better term, about it. You know, while I watch NXT and I can watch two guys who I could never have seen before. You know, or you look at some of their bigger characters, like I love Enzo Amore. Dude is hilarious. He's a cartoon character come to life. But if he were on Raw, I'd be like, oh, look at this dude. Great, gonna come out and say some stuff and job to somebody. But on NXT, I'm like, here we go. He's gonna spell soft, and I'm excited every time. And I think that's the big difference. Is for professional wrestling, I feel like there's always a payoff. There's always, at the end of the day, these two dudes need to fight. They've got a problem, and they're gonna settle it in the ring. While in sports entertainment, you can have your big guy that's come out and talk for 20 minutes. If I have to watch Seth Rollins and John Cena for me to sleep for the next 10 minutes every beginning of Raw, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's infuriating. Fight. I just want you to fight. And I think they do a very good job of doing that in NXT. Now, to be fair, Raw has to fill 3 hours, and NXT just has to, cut up their shows into hour-long segments. So I do get where that can be kind of difficult on the main roster, but at the same time, get me going to start off with. That's what I want. NXT, they press the go button and they don't stop until the credits roll,
Yeah.
And I think my second issue, and I'm not sure if you guys will agree with me on this, but I feel the big thing, at least when you're watching at home, is the commentary. I for a long time didn't have a huge problem with Raw's commentary until I read online, how someone pointed out that they don't call moves anymore. And I really hadn't noticed. I just got used to the constant shilling of whatever they're promoting. It's fun. Their sponsors need to make some money. And, once I started listening for it, they call maybe a move a match, While on NXT, the commentary is they give what's going on in the ring such reverence. I mean, they joke, they have fun, they poke fun at each other, you know what I mean? Corey Graves is now on commentary. He's doing a better job as a heel color commentator than I think anyone's done on the main roster in a very, very long time, because it's defined he's the bad guy commentator.
Right.
But I mean, going back to when I first started watching wrestling, you had good old JR, who I think most of us will agree may be the best commentator of all time.
Somebody apparently at WWE did not like what you just said.
Let's talk about JR.
Apparently JBL got very angry.
Okay, that being said, I love JBL. I think he's hilarious. I think he's a terrible commentator, but he makes me laugh every time I listen to him.
Indeed.
But JR, like I was saying, you could have a guy wrestle a broom, and JR would make you believe that broom was whipping that guy's ass. That just the way he spoke about it, everything was important. No matter who was in the ring, it was important. And I mean, JR said in interviews, he would say that to Vince when Vince would be shouting in his ear, say this. JR would be like, no, that's stupid. I'm going to call this match. And as much as I like Cole, as much as I like King, as much as I like JBL, I feel like they're missing that. They're missing that what's going on in the ring is important. Not what just happened. Not what will happen later. I don't care what Cena's going to do at the end of the night. I don't care what Randy Orton hears in his head. Tell me when someone does an arm drag. That's what I want to see. And they do that in NXT. They make you believe what's going on in the ring is what's going on in the ring. I mean, let's be real. Kids, if you're listening, cover your ears real fast. Guys, wrestling's fake. It is. It's a lot of fun. But if we're all adults here, it's fake.
What?
And
What? Wait a minute. What?
What are you?
guys, I'm sorry.
You're saying?
We are on the radio, right? We're not doing a podcast. We're doing a live radio.
Blasphemy.
Okay, but in all seriousness, I want my suspension of disbelief to go further, and they don't have that on Raw anymore. It's like there's this big wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I mean, look, for the most part, 98% of people who watch NXT are smart fans, but we all forget that it's fake. When Kevin Owens friggin' powerbombed Sami Zayn into the side of the ring, that hurt,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it did hurt to a certain degree, but it looked painful. I winced. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Sami Zayn's fine. There's pictures of him after the match holding the championship. It's awesome, And that's what NXT has. NXT has that old school, I mean, I don't want to call it attitude era kind of air about it, but it does. Those guys are proving something.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the guys in the ring, but that whole team. The commentators, like Aaron said before, the guys who do the lights, the sound, they're all striving to be the best they can. And while I don't necessarily think that the talent on Raw is not doing the same thing, I think all the guys who on the main roster work as hard as they can in the field they're given. I don't know, I feel like they've lost that kind of drive. Maybe as far as the creative team goes, but that's what I personally feel.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm sad to have to cut this short. Everyone kind of got to say their 2 cents, which was great. But we have hit an hour and 1 minute. And I know that once I put this through post and I add some funky, fresh tunes to this, it's still going to be a little bit over an hour. But we're going to end here. And folks, we're still playing around with this. We're not quite sure if it's going to be like Popcorn Prattle, which is going to be recorded every week. Minus the past 2 weeks, just because of many different things. But hopefully we can try to give you guys more of this, if not weekly, then bi-weekly. Aaron is here live. He won't always be here live because he has to go back to Florida. But we will try to get you more of Aaron, more of Billy, and of course more of me. And hopefully we'll give you.
We promised to do a live one.
Yes.
The first week of February with all three of us.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Has to happen.
Yes, indeed. A live one. Everybody's in the room. Everybody's weighing in. That'll be our super show. Well, fellas, since you guys are new to the company, like I said, these two are executive producers for this particular series. As per usual, you guys know that you can reach me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Mark_Leroy. That's LAROY. Aaron, where can people reach you if there's a way they can reach you?
I'll give you all my email. If you go to A O'Connell, that's AO'_CONNELL 08 @gmail.com.
And Billy, how can people reach you?
I don't have a Twitter yet. Give me a week. But you can reach me at my email. It is BIRRYCHAMDA @gmail.com.
Beery!
Yes, I know.
Guys, look, right now there is no, at the moment of this recording, there is no Facebook page. But when you guys see this, when you guys get to listen to this, there will be a Facebook page up that you can also comment on. Let us know if there's any particular topics that you want to hear from us. And of course, now that we have two podcasts, please listen to Popcorn Prattle, and spread the word about that. We talk a lot about movies. And on Popcorn Prattle, of course, we're going to talk about WrastleCast. Thanks, Billy, for that name. We're going to do some more WrastleCast for you guys. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a good time. Folks, in the words of the great, immortal John Cena, don't forget, hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Boo, boo, boo.
I'm gonna strike you.
Boo.
All right, sorry.
We don't like that at all.
Okay, fine. Let me try this. In the words of the late great Zack Ryder, woo woo woo. You know it. Have a good night, folks. Thank you.